This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com.
What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. Just finished Raw. This is my full recap from December 14, 2015. This one was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the home of ECW. JBL, Michael Cole, Brian Saxon is your commentators. So this pretty much started off, keep in mind, table ladder to chair pay-per-view, TLC was yesterday. And I'd have to go on record and say that TLC started off strong. If you don't count the kickoff show, Sasha Banks and I'm not a big fan of Team Bad having to cheat to win, considering they have the best athletes and the best squad. But don't count the pre-show. When it goes to the actual main show and you have that pay-per-view was starting off, they started off with a tag team championship title match. You got the New Day versus Lucha Dragons versus the Usos. Excellent match. It's definitely one of those match of the year candidates with even move of the year or OMG moment of the year that happened in that match. TLC started off strong. Then it was boring as all outdoors, bruh. Well, outdoors not boring, depending on what you're doing. But you know what the saying mean. It was just whack. And even the title match, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus, which they started off showcasing what happened in the match between Roman Reigns and Sheamus. And that match was boring. Roman Reigns was about to win it. The League of Nations, minus King Barrett, nobody talked about where he's at. Minus King Barrett, they came and interfered. Sheamus ended up winning the match. Okay, Roman Reigns snaps. He beats all of the League of Nations, minus King Barrett. He beats all of them with a chair. Triple H and a whole bunch of referees come down and try to stop him. Superman punched Triple H, then start chair shotting him. Stephanie McMahon yelling, "Oh, please stop!" All this type of stuff. He put him on the table, jumped through him while he's on the table, all kind of stuff. He just completely like dog walked Triple H. He finally leaving. They get Triple H up. Roman Reigns run all the way from the entry ramp and go spear the dude, mess him up. So they show all of that. That's how they started off Raw. Then, of course, Stephanie McMahon comes down to the ring, and, she pretty much saying, look, we want payback. I would want payback on Roman Reigns. You would be fired, but Triple H asked me not to fire you. And he's like, Roman Reigns, come down to the ring. You ain't nobody. He like, screw you and your family. She starts smacking him in the face, blah, blah, blah. She said, you know what, I ain't going to worry about it because my dad, Vince McMahon, coming down to handle you. Crowd erupts. Haven't seen Vince McMahon in over a year on a live show. So your first match was Dolph Ziggler versus the new Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose. And, Dean Ambrose started off with an early advantage. And it was back and forth action with a whole bunch of them about having near falls. But then Kevin Owens comes out and he just whoops both of them. He ended up actually hitting Dolph Ziggler first. So they said, bling, bling, bling. Dolph Ziggler went very DQ. Then he goes attack Dean Ambrose too. And then he power bombs Dolph Ziggler into Dean. That pop-up power bomb, boom, on top of Dean Ambrose. So Kevin Owens just whooped both of them boys and walked out. Then you had a TLC recap of how the New Day won their ladder match. Oddly enough, they didn't show Xavier Woods throwing the trombone in the back of Kalisto. That was hilarious. That's how they actually won it. Xavier Woods interfered and knocked Kalisto off the match with that trombone in his back. But they did say it. They just didn't show it. Then they cut away to Kevin Owens getting interviewed, asking, what was he thinking, attacking him. He said, hey, Dean Ambrose talking about it crazy. Well, I'm going to drive him crazy until I get my belt back, So that was pretty much that. Then you had Team ECW, which is the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino, original cats of, Extreme Championship Wrestling, which, this show is in Philadelphia. So, of course, ECW was started in Philadelphia. Paul Heyman, his production. They cut a promo pretty much calling out the Wyatt family and say, hey, let's go ahead and have an Extreme Rules match in Philadelphia tonight. Crowd is of course, go crazy about that. So the next match is R-Truth versus Bo Dallas. The match started, but they cut away and they showed Stephanie McMahon outside in a limo pulling up. Vince McMahon hit. Crowd goes crazy. Vince McMahon, gets out and they start the match back up because Bo Dallas and R-Truth looking like, oh shucks, the boss here. And they saw wrestling. Vince McMahon come down in the ring, kicked them both out, and it was like, look, Roman Reigns, I know you waiting for me to see what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is make you sweat first. So he kicked him out and go sit down by the commentary table. Just go silent. Just go silent. They cut to a commercial. He comes back on. You got a guy whispering in his ear. It's like, oh, say, Vince, what you doing, man? One of the people with the headphones on, like, what you doing, man? Yeah, I'm going to make him sweat it out. So he finally gets up and he's like, Roman Reigns, come down. Roman Reigns comes. He came down through the crowd to go talk to Stephanie. He just came from the back to talk to Vince. It's a lot quicker. And Vince McMahon pretty much said that that long story short, Vince McMahon pretty much said that he wanted Roman Reigns to apologize, to get on his knees and apologize to him. And Roman Reigns was like, whatever. And Vince McMahon was like, man, back in the day, I'll whoop you and make you apologize to me. Start taking off his clothes. Sheamus interrupted and was like, nah, V-Mac, you ain't got to do that. He ain't call him V-Mac. I call him V-Mac. He's like, no, Vince, and you're Mr. McMahon, you don't have to do that. Let me go ahead. I want to go ahead and I want to beat the apology out of him. He's like, I'm so serious about it. I even put my belt up tonight just to have a chance to fight him. And Vince McMahon was like, y'all want to see it, Philly? Of course, they go crazy. He's like, I don't believe y'all still fall for that. And heck no, we ain't doing that. So they started calling him an a-hole. That was an awesome chant. And so of course Roman Reigns played on his egos. Just talking about, you used to smuggle, you used to have grapefruits, but now you just got some prunes, huh? So of course Vince McMahon changed his mind and said, yes, you're gonna have your title match tonight, but one stipulation: if you don't win the title, you're fired. I'm like, oh. WWE writers, you had such a great thing where you show Roman Reigns just snap and go crazy and whooping everybody, and you took the low road. Really? A you're fired match? You couldn't think of nothing more creative than that, bruh? Come on, man. Come on. Dang. So they did a you're fired match. Oh well. So you move on to the next match. You got Alberto Del Rio, your Mex-American champ, U.S. champ, whatever you want to call him. Right as you kind of drop the ball on the whole Mex-American angle. Come on, pick it up. With Rusev versus Ryback and Jack Swagger. Back and forth match. Decent action. Decent action. Decent. I'm lying. It was boring as hell. It was boring. It was predictable. I mean, long story short, not even a long match short, boring match short. Lana interferes again. Referee's paying attention to her. Jack Swagger gets kicked in the face by Rusev and by Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio first, then Rusev. Rusev spins him, and that's it. This is my first time I actually really have to give a match a 1 because it really was a forgettable match. People will probably forget that match even took place. These writers just throwing matches together and don't even have no real substance to them. They don't have no vigor. Come on, writers. Come on. Did you fired match? Come on, man. You let Ryback come back months ago and he didn't start with Rusev way back then? WWE writers, y'all horrible. Okay, so then you had the Rose Bush with Adam Rose, and he did an insult to Charlotte and Tommy Dreamer. This time it was pretty cool. You need to actually take a look at that on WWE.com. He actually had some pretty cool stuff. So then you had Tyler Breeze with Summer Rae versus Neville, and the Miz decided to come out and sit at the side of the ring, and kind of like have the director's megaphone, and he over there giving instructions to Neville, like Neville don't know what to do. And Neville was able to land his red arrow on Tyler Breeze. Decent match. It was about a 2. Tyler Breeze isn't getting written well. There's no real build up to him either. He's losing too many matches to say he knew, but that's my opinion. What do I know? I'm not a WWE writer. So Neville questioned me. He's like, "Say, bro, what you doing, man? Why you coming to the match doing all that?" Neville, Miz pretty much told Neville, "Look, let me be straight with you. I think you have a lot of good potential. I want to bring you to that next level, but I need something from you. I want to learn your accent because they have a lot of movies where they want you to talk with a British accent, and I don't want to talk like this, Gaffner." So he said he didn't want to have a stereotypical accent. He wanted to learn Neville's real authentic accent. Neville was like, "Look, man, you ever come and pull that stunt that you did in my match again, I'm gonna whoop you." That's pretty much what he told him. He left him. So they did a cutaway, and the Wyatt family say that they're gonna bury Tommy Dreamer in the place that he was born tonight. And then Team ECW comes out, the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer, and Ryback. I'm like, why they didn't do that cutaway a couple of segments ago? You do it right before the match? Why? Just make them accept it and then build anticipation towards the Wyatt family versus Team ECW. But that's me. And, I'm not no production assistant of the WWE. So, of course, it's Team ECW versus the Wyatt family. And it's an 8-man tag team Extreme Rules match. And oh man, this generation needed to see that match take place. It was definitely worth it. They needed to actually see that match take place, and I'm glad that it did take place. This match was about a 3. It ended with Rhino getting placed on the table and Eric Rowan jumping off the top rope on top of him and getting the pin victory that way. Really good match. It's a extremely strong 2 to a low 3. Well, hey, it could be a solid 3 depending on what you want. ECW, by me watching that real time, if they'd have bloodied each other, cut each other up, solid 3, even possible 4. But it was a really good match. Then you had the New Day come to the ring, and they pretty much showed the recap of what the stuff that they did to win the belts at TLC. And the New Day came out and visibly limping. Kofi Kingston had a real bad limp. And it was like, look, we want to call out the Usos. It's like, look, we had an excellent match. We want to bury the hatchet with y'all. We want to extend an olive branch, put their hand out. It's like, but wait, Lucha Dragons, come out. They gave him his props, man. That move Kalisto do, he grab him and flip over their back, and whatever they call that Del Sol move that he did off of the top ladder, to fall on a ladder that was on top of somebody. Oh, it was some good stuff. They actually had an excellent match. That match was awesome. They gave the New Day gave everybody props. It's like, look, man, we did an excellent match and we did it for these fans, and the Usos like, man, I must have hit my head hard. It was like they shook their hand. Everybody shook hands. Fans, they clapping. Philadelphia fans clapping and everything. The Usos and the Lucha Dragons leave the ring. And New Day said, "Hey, but we still got to celebrate because we won. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. New Day rocks." And that made the Lucha Dragons and the Usos go back in the ring and whoop them. So, you can't taunt. So then you had Alicia Fox and Brie Bella versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch, with Ric Flair accompanying, of course, his baby girl over there to the ring, champion, the Divas champion, Charlotte. And it was actually a decent match. They showed the TLC match between Paige and Charlotte, where Ric Flair actually did interfere in that match. And, that's how Charlotte won the match. It looked like Paige was about to win it, but Ric Flair interfered in that one. So it was a back and forth action. This one, Alicia Fox came in there and she started getting momentum. Ric Flair grabbed that leg, interfered, and that distraction and her disbelief that Flair interfered in another match caused Becky Lynch to slap on that arm submission breaker thing she got, and then Charlotte and Becky Lynch won the match via submission. Match was about a 2. They could have gone longer. And Brie Bella, all of her moves are like Vogue moves. I hate that. Fluid motions. Charlotte, Becky Lynch, all these other girls, all these other women, all the other divas, outside of the Bella Twins, they can put together a stream of maneuvers over and over. They got to stop with everything they do. Bree just kind of killed it. Otherwise, if you had another competitor in there, probably been a 3 match. Um, they did another recap of the TLC Heavyweight Championship match with Roman Reigns losing and going crazy. So the match started Roman Reigns versus Sheamus in a Year 5 match. Of course, Vince McMahon comes down to the thing. Roman Reigns started off on fire, but then Sheamus whooped him. Just start whooping. He whooped him about 70% of the match, actually. And several times Vince McMahon jumped out of his chair to go run the ring to yell "You're fired" to Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns kick off in a very last, just like a millisecond before that hand hit for that third count. And the crowd started getting really, really into it. They really, really did start getting into it. And I mean, they both start putting each other down in this near falls and all that type of stuff. Roman Reigns finally got it on Sheamus. Boom! Got him down. One. He was knocked out. 1, 2. Vince McMahon grabs the referee out the ring. Crowd is upset. And then Vince McMahon, Roman Reigns get Roman Reigns, Sheamus get Roman Reigns in a white noise. Boom. 1, 2, 2.75. Crowd gets really, really excited. Roman Reigns kick out of it. League of Nations minus King Barrett once again not understanding what's going on. League of Nations come down. Roman Reigns fight them, end up Superman punching Del Rio and Rusev, and gets back in the ring, and man, Roman Reigns bleeding and everything. He just got busted up, and it it was weird, but I mean, I'm not understanding why they chose to end it the way they did. But Sheamus, of course, went for the kick and got caught by a spear. And with Vince McMahon even trying to, oh, you know what? I missed one crucial part. Vince McMahon, while the League of Nations was beating up Roman Reigns, was talking to the referee, and the referee paying much attention to Vince McMahon. Well, Roman Reigns came and Superman punched Vince McMahon, knocked him out, and then he was able to get the spear on Sheamus, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns, the new champ. Now, I'm sure he has a target on his back because he knocked out the owner of the company, and he pissed off the daughter of the company, chief operating person of the company, and beat up her husband and got him really roughed up. So they actually do have a decent storyline. Hopefully the WWE writers won't drop the ball on it. Hey, give me your feedback. Follow me on everything, playtimecares.com. You can subscribe to that. Follow me on my YouTube channel. Everything, everywhere. I'm Playtime Cares. Just do that for me. Give me suggestions. Comment on the video. Hey, if you're looking for just a quick recap of who won, I do a quick recap. Go find that video. I do all that. Just interact with me. I want to see you people. I want to interact with you folks. Y'all let me know. Playtime's out.